What's going on, you bunch of heretics? Grab your paint pots, grab your recaf, and let's get some paint on that ever-growing pile of potential. It's here. The heresy is my therapy. Slapchop tutorials. The 40k, the Killteam 40k faction focus continues with our scout squad, and of course today we are doing probably one of the coolest models across Killteam, and that is of course the Scout Sniper. Probably a little bit more of a detailed video today, keeping it like the box art, but we're probably going to play around with the cloak a little bit more today, so that should be a little bit of fun. Anyway, let's get to it. Okay then guys, here he is. We have primed our Scout Sniper, good to go. He is looking lovely. Honestly, this model just looks so cool, and I cannot wait to make a start on this. As always guys, we're going to go with our three-layer system. You know the routine with this. It's going to be, we're going to get our Administratum Grey, Ulthuan Grey, and of course our white scar, our myriad of dry brushes, and we're going to get to work with this. As always for this, I'm using my Techlon Tiger Drybrushes to get this underway. So let's begin. Yep, Administratum Grey. As always guys, we shake it up, we get it on our brush, we grab our paper, and we take it all off. We got our paper, we got our whatever you want to use to get it all up. We want to make sure that it's all off there. And remember, small circles all over the model, and we're going to build up these layers of grey. Okay, we're going to build up these layers of grey. Remember, with this initial one, just build it all up, a couple layers if you need to, small circles, and we are getting in absolutely everywhere guys, okay? Absolutely everywhere with this, okay? Build it up, and build it up. Maybe 2 layers, 3 if you want to, but again, just start off nice and easy and slowly build it up, okay? Right, here he is. Yep, first layer has now been applied, and we're now going to get our Ulthuan Grey, and we're going to do the exact same thing again. Remember with these guys, always give it a good old shake up. Then of course you're just going to get some on your brush, and you're going to take it all off. Just as we've been doing before, taking it all off. And all we're doing, like I say, we're just going to go down the model where all the light's going to get him. Okay, so down the model where all the light's getting him. No requirements to start going underneath, okay? And then we want to do a real good job of just highlighting the cloak as well. But all the areas where the light's heading, no requirement to go underneath, okay? No requirement to go underneath. Okay, but at a nice level where the light's getting in. Okay. Yep, Ulthuan Grey now applied, and it's time to get our white scar onto the mix. As always guys, you know the routine, place them on, and we're literally taking it all off as per, and just again on the tops, just literally on the tops. Sorry guys, I'm gonna keep doing this now. On the tops, nice and light, just picking out just some of those little areas, just on the tops. Okay, few layers, get those little highlights done. All right, and if you want to, you can add, say, maybe like a straight cut over some of those edges as well. Right, and there he is, Slapchop primed and ready to go. 2 minutes heretics, we need to talk about today's video sponsor. Chronicle. As many of you know, I have been using the Techlon Tiger Drybrushes for my Slapchop and many of the Slapchop videos. I love them. I cannot recommend them enough, which is why I've partnered up with Chronicle, and they are giving channel viewers 20% off site-wide on all of their products. Just use the code HERESY20 and you will get 20% off all of everything you buy with Chronicle. Everything you need to know where to find it all is in the description below. So yes, these I definitely recommend for my Slapchop videos, and hopefully you guys will enjoy them too. Back to the feature video, the tutorial, whatever it is I'm doing. Right, first things first, we're going to grab our Lamian Technical, Lamian Medium, and then we're going to get our Tarragon Turquoise, and we're just going to apply that mix to the shoulder pads, basically all the areas, boots, shoulder pads, armor work, and how should we have him? We'll give him his gloves. We're going to give him gloves today, so we're going to do the whole arms, everything. I reckon we're going to give him some gloves, or should we? I don't know. What do you reckon? Ooh, I will come back to it later. Weapon system, predominantly a lot of the weapon system, but we're going to keep a lot of this black. So it's going to be the whole weapon system. This will be brown. So yeah, just on the. We'll just play it by ear. Come on. That's enough talking. You want to see us being done. You don't be here talking, do we? Jeepers. We don't want that. Again, we're probably going to go with a nice little 2-to-1 or even 1-to-1 mix of this. Just because, again, we want to make it nice and thin. Nothing mental. Nice and thin. Nothing mental on the brush. Remember, guys, we're just basically taking it from here. And we're just going to move the paint around over the model. Might be a couple of layers, but again, we don't want it going straight from the pot. We want to be mixing it with our Lamian Medium and just moving it around the models to all the areas that we want to be having that ghoulish undertone. You know, giving it that ghoulish undertone, that hue that you see on the models that are black. All right, so again, just in all these areas, on all the arm work, and knee pads, and don't forget the boots as well. Okay, remember, just a couple of layers, whatever you guys want to do. Again, I'm probably going to do two thin coats. As I say all the time, Duncan Rhodes it, 2 thin coats, you won't go wrong. Okay. Okay, there's the 2 thin coats of that applied. What I'm going to do now, I'm kind of just going to jump ahead a little bit, and I'm going to pop some base on it. I'm going to get my Stying Mud, and I'm going to just apply this onto the miniature. Okay, just an old brush that you don't mind, you know, that you probably used in the past. You've probably got that little basing brush that you always use, and typically for this video I seem to have evidently misplaced mine, because why wouldn't I have? Oh no, it's just over here. Silly bean. Right, yes, some Stying Mud, and all we're going to do is we're just going to apply this to the base of the model. Yeah, Stying Mud, that's the one. Stying Mud onto the base. I know usually we're going to go over it with the Black Templar, and we will do that in a minute. I'm just very conscious that this is one of those videos where you want to speed paint, contrast, undercoat, underpaint, slap chop, whatever we're calling it these days. I don't even know anymore. And there's always the comment section going, well, back in my day we used to call it underpainting. Well, it's slap chop and speed painting now, folks. We're under new management, so I'm just trying to give you the quickest way, the most efficient way to get this done as quickly as possible. This probably should take you about an hour. So this video is about 20-25 minutes, and this should take you in total about an hour to do this. All right, there you go. That's that part done. Put the base on, and we'll let that dry whilst we're painting the rest of the miniature. Next up, troops, we've got our good old-fashioned Black Templar. It's going to be the same again as what we did with our Tarragon Turquoise. We are literally going to be a bit of a 50-50 mix of Black Templar. You can put a bit in that old mix as well if you want, because that'll be quite diluted. Black Templar in that old mix with our you know, lime and medium. I know many of you asked about the difference between lime and medium and contrast medium. Honestly, the lime and medium was recommended by someone in one of the guys in Games Workshop. He just found that the lime and medium works quite well to create a nice matted effect, which is what we kind of want. Anyway, yes, with this, remember, take as much off the brush as possible because we don't want any of it pooling. And all we're going to do is, again, a couple of thin layers of this black Templar over our model, just to kind of now give it that sort of that darkened armor effect. All right, so again, don't go straight from the pot. You don't need this to be thick to take away that nice work of the Tarragon turquoise. Okay, so a couple of layers, couple of thin layers just over the top. You know, we're taking our underpainting, speed painting, slapchop painting, whatever we're calling it, to the next level. You know, we're not just going, right, I want a model done in 2 minutes. We're getting a good quality model done in rapid succession, but just taking a little bit more to understand more principles about color theory and how our contrast paint sits in the model. All right, so yeah, I guess getting that black on there, kind of goes rambled a bit there, didn't I? Get that black on there, nice and simple. Remember, Duncan wrote it, 2 thin coats, and you should be away. All the weapons, basically all the areas that we've Tarragon turquoised, that's where we're going to be going. All right. Right, there he is. The next of all, that's just drying away there. That's drying away nicely. And while that is drying away, we're now going to get our Basilicum Grey. And again, with a bit of a mix. In fact, no, I remember with this, we can go almost straight onto the model the way this grey sits, because it's quite a thin colour, so we can probably go straight onto it. We're also going to do, so all the cloth work is what's going to get done. It isn't that much. Trousers, in the arms, and we're also going to start to do some of the cloak as well. What I want to point out is, what I have done, probably I should have mentioned it earlier, is I kind of added a bit of a highlight in this area around here where the lights are for his camo cloak. I'm kind of going to avoid putting too much around there because I'm going to create a bit of an effect later on, okay? But otherwise, we're just going to put our Basilicum Grey over those cloth parts of the model. All right, so again, pop it onto your wet palette. In fact, you know what? No, we will add just a dash of lime and medium in there, a 2-to-1 of lime and medium, and Basilicum Grey, as in 2 parts Basilicum, 1 part lime and medium. All right, and like I say, all we're doing, 2 thin coats, okay, as we have done before, of the grey in all the cloth areas. All right, so all the cloth areas are all going to receive said treatment. All right, so get those in there, nice and easy. And again, all I'm doing, I'm just easing it in, simple enough. And then if you want to, a little bit of other cloth part on the boots just to kind of break the boot up, you can either use this or use Black Templar to go a bit darker in those cloth areas. I might even get a bit of Black Legion in there just to kind of break them up in a little bit as well. Alright, so a couple of layers. Again, like you say, we're just putting those layers of Basilicum Grey into the cloth. And like I say, I'm just literally popping in the cloth, in the cape even, those layers on there. Alright, nothing wild again, we're just almost circular-esque around there just to kind of break it up a little bit. Alright, remember, 2 thin coats, and that should be us done. Yep, there's our layers applied, and hopefully you can start to see your Stying Mud drying up quite nicely. Gorgunter Fur is our next on the list. As always, we're going to go with our Gorgunter Fur and Cigo Brown combo special, and same again, 2-to-1 on our palette of our lime medium and our browns. We just want to get this thinned down ever so nicely. I keep dropping stuff today. I feel like maybe it's because I'm rushing and just demonstrating just how quickly you can kind of get these done, maybe. I don't know. And as always, we are going to go on those webbing parts. You know, on those webbing areas, his pouches, just these little bits here, all these utility straps, utility pouches, belts, anything where it would look like it's like a belt and it's a bit of patchwork. That's where we're going to go with that. His holster, don't forget that. So make sure we get his holster. There's a weapon for his sidearm. And again, all these other little patches here. Again, I would probably just go 2 thin coats of this to get you prepped up nicely. Oh, and of course, don't forget his hair on the top of his head. You know what I mean? Course you do, my son. Course you do, lad. Nice. Good old Cigo Brown. We're going to add that into the mix. I'll probably just put this straight into the mix, to be honest with you, because it's already quite a light mix. Ooh, actually, maybe not. Do you see how dark that went there? Jiminy Cricket. We need to lighten the load there. So we're just going to get a little bit of our lime and medium. That's better. And we just thin that down nicely. And then all we're going to do, a couple of thin layers, just into the recesses of the model, just to kind of give it a bit more of a blended look to our webbing kit. Our webbing straps just gives that a bit more like weathered tone, because if you put this straight onto the model, it doesn't look right. That's why that Cigo fur just gives it just a nicer undertone really for the Cigo Brown. And again, build the layers up. Do not go straight from the pot with this. I'm sure I've mentioned it before on videos. Cigo Brown is not one you go straight onto the model with unless you want a really, really dark brown effect. Cigo Brown is one where you build up the layers, troops. You build up the layers with Cigo Brown. Let me tell you that. Okay, you build up the layers with Cigo Brown. So nice and light. Take your time with it. Bit by bit. Take your time. Let it dry out. So maybe the only downside with Slapchop is at the moment, you know, you're almost going quicker. But if you're batch painting stuff, it will work quite nicely. Anyway, yeah, Cigo Brown in all those areas that you've just applied the Gorgonta fur, and that will be you. Right, so this is the part where we're going to do the camouflage. So, my current models for my system have got a brown, heavier brown with green tufts base. Well, it's a brown with like a bit of a purplish reddy hue. It is like a woodland camo, but not, as you've seen from previous videos. So, with that in mind, we're going to kind of give this a bit of a brownish hue. So what we need to do, we're going to use a little bit of Fresh Terrace Red. We're going to use a bit of Gorgonta Fur. We're probably going to use that mix from before, but we're also going to add some Camo Creed and some Mantis Warrior Green. We'll put the green bits on first, just because they're the smaller parts. Mantis Green, you can kind of just go straight onto the model with, and that's what we're going to do. So all I'm going to do is just very, very loosely put on the areas where I want the Mantis Green, okay? So again, nothing wild. It's just going to be a little bit, okay? Because the predominance is going to be brown. However, we do want a little bit of symmetry, but that is basically what we're going to do. So this will look a lot more like the bushes that it'll be under, okay? So that's the first part of it done there. All right. Next up, we're going to get our Camo Creed. And again, we're going to just into that mix, just nice and light. We're just going to darken this mix. Okay. And all we're going to do is just in those areas that we've done, we're just going to just re-attack them. Just make them a little bit darker. All right. It's almost very much like the old World War II German camouflage, and all I'm doing is I'm just dabbing it into the mix, creating a little bit of a, like what would be like a bit of a camo bush, all right, so that you'll be able to see bits of the old green and the lighter green, Okay, bit of the oil green and the lighter green. That will just sit in quite nicely there. Okay, easy as that. Next, because we want to create that reddish hue into the ground, we're going to grab our Flesh Terrors red, and in that old mix that we were using for our leatherwork, we're just going to mix it all into that. Okay, and we've got like a bit of a darkish red, and all that's going to do is, again, we're just going to feed this into the model, and again, you're kind of mixing it in, but not, because it'll be quite wet and blended. I'm just trying to give you the best description of doing this. You're making a camouflage cloak, remember, so it's going to look all forestry. It's not meant to, you know, be too neat. Okay, it doesn't want to be neat. Okay, if you start making things too neat, nature's not neat. All right, so just remember that when you're doing this, nature isn't neat. There are no straight lines in nature, as it were. And for my military counterparts in there, please don't cringe at what I've just said. I beg you. But again, we're going to do a couple of thin coats just on this model, alright? But again, it's like an old woodland camouflage, because remember, we're trying to create a bush-like area, right? So see, got greens and browns, and this is how it would sit along, right? And that's how we're going to work it. Okay, so it's a bit of an older type camouflage system. This is like the adaptive camouflage that the Space Marines would have. You know, the digital projections, that is what it would go with. Having that mix of greens and browns in a kind of tactical-esque kind of way. All right, so that's what we're trying to achieve here. And again, we're just in these areas, and again, it's going to take you know, a couple of layers to get this right. Okay, a couple of layers just to get that right. All right. Yep. So like I say, I mean, however you want to do yours is how you want to do yours, but I've tried not to do too much of a green and brown too much. Obviously, it'll make more sense once we put that next you know, the magic on the Xandri dust, because then we can just touch up bits and pieces if we really want to and go over it again. But that's what we'll be doing next, because that's pretty much the main parts on. So we'll let that dry, and yeah, we'll be putting the those bits on. The Xandri dust dry brush, guys. Okay, troops, you know the routine. It's that time of day again. Xandri dust, baby. Give it a good old shake up. You know the routine. I'm using the F2 Biaco. It's a nice size dry brush. Plenty on. And remember, I want all of it off, guys. I'm talking absolutely all of it off. As much as possible. As much as possible. You know the routine with this. We are talking feather dusting up and down the model. It should take a while before we even begin to see this color change. Okay, remember, we're up and down the model. It's super light, super soft, super light. If you can see it going on straight away, probably a bit too much. We're going to take it off. Okay, I want this off. There doesn't want to be loads on here. Remember, we're just feather dusting the model. Hopefully you can hear how light of a touch this is. Okay, absolute feather dust. I'm literally just, I'm not pressing, as I always mention in these videos, guys. To get that effect, we are literally feather dust. Okay, feather dust. If it takes a bit longer, it takes a bit longer. Okay, but it just needs to be nice and light over the model. Slowly see that Xandri dust change. Okay, nice and light. And then in these smaller areas, we're going to use our smaller brush. Okay, but otherwise, nice and light, nice and delicate. Feather dust it in. Okay, feather dust it. Keep going until there's like literally like there shouldn't be anything left on here. Okay, but absolutely everywhere. Everywhere, guys, alright? But again, up and down the model, super light. Feather dust it. Nothing mental, okay? You don't want to ruin all that hard work by brushing too hard. Alright? So just nice and light. Keep the dusting feather light, okay? Right, there you go. Remember, like I said, we've just done a real feather dusting, okay? So, little bits now. We're going to get our... We're going to get a Talazar blue. All we're going to do with our Talazar blue, we're going to get our small brush, real small brush, Talazar blue, a little bit of a mix with our lime and medium, Talazar blue, lime and medium, and all we're going to do with this, we'll use it later as well, some other stuff. Okay, nice and light. All we're going to do is just a little light here, and small circles. We're just going to add it to the cloak. Alright, so again, small circles here, just so it kind of creates that sort of like bulb effect on the miniature. A little bit up there, and then just a little bit more around the edges, and then just create a little bit of a glow around it. And it will just highlight all the areas where we've done it earlier on. Okay, easy as that. Alright, so that's the little blue bit done there. For his NVGs, his night vision goggles. Again, mantis green, great little option. And again, you can kind of just, not straight from the pot, but pop it on your wet palette first. Oh, hello, on your wet palette first. And then all you're going to do, simple enough, just straight in there. Go straight in, because that's going to help you create the glow. Alright, straight in, done. Easy as that. Oh, wicked easy. Wicked easy. Alright, and then what we'll do next is we'll do the metalwork. Alright. Metalwork, we're just going to do Iron Warriors. And again, off the brush, just onto our wet palette. And again, all I'm doing is just this like mortise round on his arm. There's like a little skull on the side of his weapon system. That's going to go there. That's the only part you're going to do with that. That's how I'd like to have my guy. And then finally, we're going to do the like sort of like rebreather type of kit just in there. Alright, that's just going to go there like so. Easy peasy, okay? So we're just going to pop that in here. Nice and steady. Alright. With the Iron Warriors applied, all we're going to do now is we're going to grab our good old trusty Null Oil, aka Liquid Talent, and all you're going to do is straight from the pot, again, straight in, all those metal areas that we've just done. Simple enough. Okay, and then in there, into those areas, really easy. Like say you haven't got to load it up, just use your small brush and it will get it in there, get the nice and deep black. A bit of highlighting, we're just going to grab our Stormhost Silver, give it a shake, and again from the pot just onto our palette, take a fair bit of it off, and all you're going to do is, I just use the thumb just to take the excess off if you need to. And then all you're going to do is just literally just a few little dot highlights on the top. Same on the skull. And then again, just on the rebreather kit, just to give it a bit of a spotlight. And all you need to do, like I say, same again, just along the tops. Nice and light, no effort, no having to press in. because you can always go back to it. Okay, right, let's pop some skin on him and he should be good to go. In fact, I tell you what, we're just going to grab some Corax White. Okay, sorry, White Scar. Okay, some White Scar. Take it off. Palette. And all I do, there's like 3 little like dots on here. Like areas that look like they'd be like little lights. So what we're going to do is just pop some white on them. That's his clip. Yeah, white on those 2 dots there. Grab whatever colour you want. In fact, we're going to use one of the old blues that we had from there. That should be still damp. I'm going to pop that in there. And we're going to use that old mantis green. I'm going to pop that in there. Okay. Maybe in that darker one. How about that? There we go. And then we've got ourselves a nice little green light and a blue light on his weapon system. Just as like a little, yeah, you're good to go. Take the shot. Right, next up, finally going to put our skin on. We're going to use our classic one. We're going to go Cadian Fleshtone, Gill Flesh, followed by a little bit of Agri Earth, and then our Kidl Flesh. Again, small amount, and all we're going to do 2 thin coats on the hands. Okay, so on the hands, in the face, and on the other hand as well. This will just break up the fact that it's quite dark around that area there. Okay, so this will just break it up. So again, 2 thin coats on that area. All right. Like Cadian Flesh applied. Now we're going to grab our Gill Flesh. Where are you? There he is. Gill Flesh. We're going to place this on now. Again, you can kind of go straight from there with this if you want to. And again, straight into the hands. 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 Face. Again, in the face. Don't worry about how dark it is. It's absolutely fine. It's what we want because it just sits in the model absolutely lovely. And then same again into the hands. Just want to break up those creases in between the fingers. We'll be good to go. Okay. Agri Earth shade that we're going to put in the recesses. And depending on what your relationship's like with Agri Earth shade, we can just pop a little bit more in the hands if you want to make it a little bit darker. In case you want to break that up just a little bit in some of the creases, you can. And inside the hand as well. But all we're doing with the Agri Earth shade is just basically putting it in the eyes, and that's where it's going to go. Okay, nice. So just give them a bit of a hooded eye look. Okay, and finally, we're going to pop a little bit of Kidl Flesh on. All this is going to do is it's just going to sit just nicely in those on the raised areas. So, on the likes of, say, the fingers, we're just going to put it on the knuckles, just along the tops of the knuckles. Just where we're going to go there. Just on the knuckles. On the top of the thumb. And then again, like I say, just on the nose. Eyebrows. A little bit on the cheeks. Doesn't have to be lots, just a little bit. Nothing like I say, nothing wild. Just on the cheeks, on the nose. Just anywhere where there might be a little bit of light that you can see. Get into it. Okay? And then of course just top 2 fingers on their knuckles. On that. Alright. And that's basically him done. Now we guess, like I say, we just skip to the part where it's all been based. Done. Here it is. We've skipped to the end, done my basing, and yeah, there he is, all done. Now you probably will notice I've added actual flock onto the camo cloak, which kind of now makes him a little bit more sort of like how he looks in his environment. So I actually quite like the way this has all turned out. Very, very good. I am happy with this. Ready for the tabletop, looking good, ready to start and join his kill team. Hopefully guys, you have enjoyed this and you've hopefully found this one beneficial. We've got one more to go, which I think is the heavy weapons guy, who is going to get done soon. But yeah, that's kind of like the general theme, all looking well. Anyway guys, hopefully you found this video useful. If you have, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, leave a comment, all the usual YouTube jargon. And yeah, I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.